Welcome to NFL Picks Week 4. We got to go to Week 3 and talk about who led in the week. I had a 13-2 record last week, followed by Ice with a 12-3 record. Drake and Pop had a 10-4 record, or 11-4 record, excuse me. And then you had Southside Al, Dread, Yinzer Mama, Baller coming in with a 10-5 record. And Windhawk, we're going to have a serious talk with Windhawk. He comes in with a 9-6 record. I know you could do better than that. You my brother, man. I know you could do better than that. We're gonna have to have a sit down before you start picking your picks because you don't need to be in last place. But what were some of the games that stood out to you, man? Before we go into our picks this week.
Yeah, Windhawk told me to tell you, don't worry about him. He's gonna make a week where he's 16-0. That's all he care about.
That's never been done on this show, but I like the enthusiasm.
He said he wants you to put his name in a gold plaque when it's all said and done forever.
I will do that. If you get 16-0, I'll do that. I'll do that. Like I'll send you football, the NFL football, 16-0.
You will never ever forget him forever. He said the game stood out to me. I mean, you got to give up Chicago. I mentioned to Windhawk that Chicago looked like a playoff team. I said, are you watching this? He goes, I said, and then he said, oh, what are you talking about? And then he got past halftime. He started watching what they kept doing. I said, they look like a playoff team. The one thing I will say this, and I might be just over the top with that, but I think they have a coach, a head coach that came from Detroit that's kind of righting the ship, if you will. He's trying to get Caleb Williams to understand about being a leader. And you don't have to be great. You got enough players out there where they showed a lot of moxie on the offense and the defense was going crazy. So the defensive coordinator is solid too. I think they're trying to change the culture. I think they're close. I'm not sure how far they're going to go, but I think they're close. So that definitely caught my eye. Again, watching Tampa Bay, just kind of how they get it done still is just amazing to me.
You got to be impressed with them.
Yeah. And even though I don't want to give them love, I think it ends this week, but you got to give kudos to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it ends this week. It got to end this week, or I'm going to go crazy. It got to end this week. Danny Dimes, all right, you got to come back to reality. Cinderella, you're going to lose that slipper.
And you mentioned, too, about Philadelphia. I do think they're on their honeymoon phase. I think they won the Super Bowl, and they can just do. It's almost like the Chiefs used to do, right, for years, and they just do enough just to kind of get by because they're so talented. One week they explode, next week they play just enough to get by. But I think they're on their honeymoon phase, so they're kind of like every other year. So it's kind of like Jonathan Taylor, the running back for the Colts. Every other year he explodes and looks like the MVP. Following year, you go, he's injured again. So we'll see. But I thought that the other team, I think, is on the ropes and very close, and we'll see what happens with them. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said, when the joke about be careful, you're on thin ice. I think they're on thin ice.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts was not happy with that win yesterday. You can see it on his face that this is not the way we have to pull out wins. We have to be that team, that Super Bowl team, and everybody's taking shots at him. I mentioned in the squad show earlier, Dallas is not a smart team, and it comes from the owner down. You know, you give up your number one defensive player. You go hire the Bears head coach and put him at defensive coordinator. He's not planning defenses for football. They're playing a 2-3 zone out there, and Caleb Williams is just throwing in the spots in the zone and getting everything he wants. And now he's saying, hey, we still got a chance to make the playoffs because we got number 4. I mean, is dementia? What's going on, man? Because it's like he's not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Yet again, in the preseason, Dallas, it's our year, it's our year, it's our year. They make no moves. The wide receivers are getting hurt. You can see the players getting frustrated. And I live here in Chicago. Chicago's not that good. They're not that good at all. All right. And I expected Dallas to win that game. But the way they were getting run through, because they give up their number one player and the head coach, the former head coach for the Bears, and that's why I hate these retread coaches that come in, they couldn't do a good enough job to handle a head coaching job. You bring them in as a coordinator, and it looked like a 2-3 zone out there, and they're just standing around looking at the quarterback, and the receivers are just running in between them, getting all types of open spaces for Caleb Williams, who is not an accurate passer, to get them the ball to win a game. And it's like, what are you doing? Where's Dallas going? I know Dallas is probably not going to make the playoffs because they play a lot of tough teams coming up. And the Giants, the only thing that I can see with the Giants that's worth watching is Scatterboo. And we talked about him last year as being a steal in the draft. He's the only one that seems like he has heart to play and play at his fullest. I think he messed up the ribs of one of the linemen trying to come in on the block. When's the last time you've seen a fullback or a running back do that to a lineman? I mean, hit them and take their blocking job seriously. So Scatterboo is my guy. He'll always be my guy. Sorry, you're with a losing franchise. And when are the Giants fans, and this is a rhetorical question, going to start looking at the coach and saying, because I've been saying it for years, that coach needs to go. Danny Dimes was there. He couldn't coach him. Now he's, looking like Joe Montana with the Indianapolis Colts. So it ain't the players. It's the coach. Seahawks against the Arizona Cardinals. And Papa's going with Arizona. I'm going with Arizona. Southside Al's going with Seattle, as well as Dredd. Windhawk is going with Seattle. And why are you going with Seattle, sir?
Well, I watched your little man, little guy. I think they struggled, Arizona that is, a little bit. And Seattle at home is going to be a problem. Is that at home or is Seattle? Is
No,
that on the road?
Arizona's at home.
Okay, still don't matter. Anyway, Seattle, it doesn't matter. I just like the way that Seattle's been playing. You have a veteran quarterback over there, and I think that they will just. My problem with Arizona, some of the games they played, particularly at home, have been too close, right? And I think they kind of play. I think they need more offense. I'm not sure why Marvin Harrison's not getting more touches. And when you don't take advantage of some of the explosive weapons over there, also too, you lose Connor, the running back for the
Yeah,
rest of
that's
the
what I
year.
was going to mention earlier.
So yeah, so with that being said, you lose him, stuff is starting to come apart. And I think Seattle with so many wide receivers over there and they're playing with a lot of heart, I think they'll get the job done. That's why I think they'll get it done on the road.
Yeah, I don't trust Darnold, so I got to go with Arizona at home. I didn't want to go with them away because usually they have a tough time playing away games, especially that San Francisco team last week. They were game. You have Baller with Arizona. Also, Drake and Yundamama are picking Seattle. So all of you are picking Seattle, and some of us are going with Arizona. Next game on tap is Minnesota at Pittsburgh. Me, Pop, and Southside Al going with Pittsburgh. It's Dredd, Windhawk, and you are going with Minnesota. And then Baller, Drake, and Yinzermama are going with Pittsburgh. So we kind of split there in the middle there with that particular pick. But, I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota catch them. I wouldn't be surprised, but I had to go with Pittsburgh because they're playing at home. And they usually play strong at home.
That's not in Pittsburgh, bro. That's
No,
overseas.
it's overseas. Okay. Because they got them as a home team. So, yeah.
Nah, that's cool. 9 o'clock in the morning on the East,
Oh, I love that. I love that.
which opens the door for Carson Wentz to go crazy overseas. Visit Pittsburgh, 9 o'clock in the morning, anything is possible. Carson, Carson, Carson.
Well, I liked him last week. I don't like him this week. Okay. I didn't know he was playing. And so, yeah, okay. We'll see if Carson can pull it off 2 weeks in a row. All right. Next game on tap is Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta let a lot of folks down last week. And we are all going with Washington and because they're putting in Kirk Cousins. I know why I'm picking Washington. They're putting in Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins may give you a good game. It might be the good Kirk Cousins or the bad Kirk Cousins. I expect this is going to be the bad Kirk Cousins against that Washington defense. But yeah, everybody's going with Washington on that game. The next game, New Orleans and Buffalo. Everybody's going with Buffalo. Nobody's picking New Orleans. Not even Dredd, who was picking New Orleans for the first 2 weeks, and he got to jump off him. Got to jump off him. The next game, we all are agreeing we're picking Detroit, and Detroit plays tonight. We have one more game, and so you'll probably see the totals on the ticker on the bottom of who's in the league, in the overall league. but everybody is going for Detroit at home against Cleveland. Anything to say about that? And will Shador make his appearance?
No, I don't think he will. I think that they're going to stick with the 1-2 punch of Flacco and Gabriel. I think that unfortunately, the way that Detroit is playing, when they had the 55 points, and then now they come back, unless there's an issue, if the game's not out of hand, they're going to keep it tight, and they're not going to give Shador any run. So the reason why I said I think Detroit is going to be up and down. So the question is, can you? And that's Cleveland, right?
Yes,
So can you expect Cleveland to come back 2 weeks in a row? In the way they barely got away with one this past week, and Detroit's going to come after Flacco. And can he get that? Can he move the ball? Even though Cleveland has an outstanding defense when they're ready to play, like they showed last week, can you rely on them to keep everything tight and keep it close so they can become close enough where a field goal can help them win the game? I'm not certain if that can happen versus Detroit.
I agree. I agree because at some particular point in Cleveland, the defense is going to start grumbling that we're putting you in position to win, and you can't do it on offense. And they're going to be talking about the age of Flacco. Next game on tap is Tennessee and Houston. Houston's been taking it on the chin last few weeks. We expected more. I know I expected more from Houston and C.J. Stroud, but that coach is predictable. Their play calling is predictable, and they're not protecting CJ. Pop is going with Tennessee. He's going with the rookie. I'm going with Houston. Southside Sal is going with Tennessee. Dredd is going with Houston. Windhawk is going with Tennessee. You are going with Houston. Baller is going with Houston, as well as Drake and Yinzer Mama going with Houston. Why Houston at this particular point? Are they just due, or what's going on?
They more than do. CJ Stroud, I mean, it's really bad to watch. It really is to watch that team struggle.
Yeah.
But I also say that I don't think Tennessee is up to that level yet. I like Ward. I think he's going to be a decent quarterback. But I think that Houston, one, has pride. Two, they'll come close to kind of being around in a couple games. And I think they're due for a breakout game. Sometimes you need, even though you're 0-3, you need a feel-good game, a get-back game.
Yeah.
And I think they have enough to do that here. I'm not sure if the Tennessee defense is going to be able to stop them. And CJ needs a get-right game. That means the type of game where you come in and you may be licking your wounds, and you need to just have a game where you can throw the ball real well and move the ball and score some points. And I think this is their week to do so.
Okay. Next game on tap is the Los Angeles Chargers. Everybody's going for the Los Angeles Chargers. The reason why I'm going for the Los Angeles Chargers is not because they're playing well. Is usually I ride them for 8 to 10 weeks, and then I know the wheels are going to start coming off come playoff time, where they're going to just start just getting tired and losing games they're not supposed to lose. I don't see anybody in the AFC West that could beat them at this particular point. Not even the Chiefs, who went to the Super Bowl last year. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go that far. I think they can get beat. I don't know about that because they've known for the last couple of years they've shown you inconsistency.
Yeah.
I think Harbaugh is doing real well trying to keep that quarterback upright, keeping him confident. I really believe the factor that when you have a young quarterback that's on the cusp of trying to be great or even just good, when you have a quarterback, a coach as a quarterback that's been through the storms, right? He's been successful. He's has also had some success with some people on the college level. He literally can stay in his ear and show him the difference in how to play that position. Doesn't mean you have to be a legendary quarterback, but you have to change the mindset. And I think that's what Harbaugh's done to the point where when the quarterbacks are throwing the ball, he has gloves on catching balls. Harbaugh is like, he's right there.
Yeah.
And I think that helps with the confidence of the young man. And I think that's why I'm with the Chargers right now. Plus, two, you have they have some decent running backs that are able to get some things done.
Najee Harris. Oh man, I feel
Yeah. So that and they have enough talent on that squad, and the way Harbaugh kind of rallies the troops, they can be a problem early. I still think they can be beat uh, at some point, especially later in the season. the fact that they got away with one versus Kansas City already, that's going to be in the back of their minds and things like that. So who knows? We'll see if they're up for the challenge. They might fool me, but I doubt it.
Yeah, Harbaugh is banned from college, but he's rolling in the pros right now. Next game on tap is Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Now, everybody picked Philadelphia except Winhawk. He's going with Tampa Bay. And I can see why he would go with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is playing tough, but I think Evans is banged up, if not hurt or not playing the game. I'm not sure. We got to get the injury report. But when I saw him kind of pull up yesterday, I was like, oh, man, that's bad for him because Baker Mayfield loves him as a receiver and his go-to receiver when he gets in trouble. But, yeah, everybody but Winhawk went for that. The next game on tap is Indianapolis at the Los Angeles Rams. Now, there are two people who are going for Indianapolis. You have Dredd and Winhawk, and everybody else is going with the Los Angeles Rams. This is the game I'm picking that the shoe falls off Cinderella, and, the clock is going to turn into midnight, and then the little pumpkin thing, the carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin for Danny Dimes because he can't be this good. They're talking about him every week. I can't stand it. Your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, no, I think that the pumpkin turns, the carriage turns into a pumpkin at midnight. And the reason why I say that is because the Rams always find ways to be inside of games, right? If they lead and they have a veteran quarterback that is able to get things done and move the ball around. And their coach has a way too of kind of manipulating games. And even though Indianapolis has been playing well, they've been rolling, the Rams have a decent defense when needed. They have enough talent over there. But offensively, I think it's going to be more like a shootout. And I'm not sure if Indianapolis can keep up, particularly at home, because the way that the Rams are set up, they either score 23 points or they might score 40.
Yeah.
And the question is, can Indianapolis keep up? I think they're great at home. Indianapolis looking great. Jonathan Taylor's running his tail off at home. You really don't want to go against them. But when you step outside that comfort zone, we'll see if things are going to be okay for Indianapolis at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Next game on tap is Jacksonville at San Francisco. Everybody's going for San Francisco except Winhawk. I'm gonna call him Rebel Winhawk, because he goes against the grain in every pick just about every pick, and he's trying to get all those wins. That's 16-0. If he gets it, man, I got nothing but love for him. Next game on tap is Baltimore, Kansas City. Now everybody's going with Baltimore, and I thought I was going to be one of the few people who picked Baltimore because I see Baltimore being stronger than Kansas City at this particular time. I think Kansas City scored more than 21 points last game, and they won. But usually they are struggling to get to that 21 mark, and you can see that offense is just, they may get across the 50 and then they just stall. And it's just not something nice to see. The game was so boring against the Giants. They should have been blowing out the Giants, being a former Super Bowl team. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think the issue though is defensively, Kansas City's been okay, right, in the past. But right now, you're starting to see teams that are not up to par on their level, making things happen for our scoring points, moving the ball. And Patrick Mahomes is struggling.
Yeah.
And you can just tell that he's throwing the ball short. He's not on the same page as some of his receivers. And we're looking at the timing pattern. You're wondering, Kelsey is not the same Kelsey from that standpoint. And receivers are dropping balls. Literally. They're getting the job done by last minute and playing hero desperation football. But this the way that Patrick Mahomes plays football is supposed to be almost effortless, from the standpoint effortless. But now it looks like more of a struggle.
Yeah, it should be easy to him at this
point. Yeah, the throws he throws are easy to him. But when you see him looking around and pointing at guys and going, telling them where they're supposed to be, yeah, something's off, man. And they won last week, but shucks, they just don't look as fluid and smooth as they normally do. So we'll see. But with that being said, it's still Marmar, and Marmar with his legs is still a threat. And this might be the game. I hope it is. This might be the game for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Henry is going to redeem himself. I think Marmar is going to run a little bit. You might have Mark Andrews getting back on track. This is a get back on track on game for them, and it's going to frustrate Mahomes. You might see one of Mahomes' better games this year, because of the fact that he's going to try to match the energy and the level of play versus Jackson. I don't think that you're going to see Patrick Mahomes try to let his team get blown out at home.
Yeah.
He's going to try to match that energy, show you that these are two elite quarterbacks. I'm still that guy. So I'm looking forward to the game because I think even though I picked Baltimore to win, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to raise his game up to get everybody involved and at least make them provide a serious effort versus this team.
I blame Kansas City, the organization, the coaching staff, because they made their moves too soon. And I was telling Pop earlier today, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They were trying to fix it, trying to stay ahead of the game and trying to keep that dynasty going. But they gave away some key players. They gave away a coach. And it's like they broke it before they could even get to that particular point. And you got Patrick Mahomes running for his life, but you can't survive in the NFL running for your life every week. So I blame the coaches. I blame the organization for not being smarter and waiting until these players get almost right, overripe and then making the changes then in building that culture. Because I think they could have, and not to say that they haven't done a great job with that and creating kind of I call it semi-dynasty, but I felt that they could have held on to some of those players a little bit longer. You got Tyreek Hill over in Miami, and he's dying over there and they could have used him. That was the safety valve for them. You got other players that they let go, and you're not protecting Mahomes. It should be easy for him. He should be sitting in the pocket, just giving the ball out. And remember when they were really winning and really kind of doing really well, he was spreading the ball around. Now you don't know who he's going to throw the ball to because it don't seem like he has trust in some of those guys. And like you said earlier, they're dropping balls. All right, this is the game that I know they're going to play here. Chicago and Las Vegas. Everybody's picking Chicago except Dredd. He's going to Las Vegas. But I'm thinking that if the Vegas can get that rookie running back going, they're going to be something special. But they haven't figured out a creative way to get him out of the backfield and into the secondary where he's at his best and get him past that line. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it's tough because you see where the Raiders are not really playing great football, but you had to be somewhat impressed by Chicago, even though it was Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And if that defensive coordinator can get Schwartz, the defensive coordinator for Chicago can get them to raise up like they did last week, just a little bit, put a little pressure on the Raiders quarterback. I think that they can win that game. And Caleb Williams, another opportunity to create some consistency for this team. So that's why I chose Chicago. I think they're going to kind of rise up, and it's almost like an equal playing field for both teams. It can go either one. We can go either way. But I think that Chicago's playing with a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
A little chip.
My concern with Chicago is that they tend to play to their competition. And if they do that with Las Vegas, they're going to lose. But it should be an easy win for them. But if they play to their competition like they've done in the past, Vegas is going to sneak in and the Raiders will win. Next game on tap, everybody's picking the Green Bay Packers. They disappointed me last week. They're playing against the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to Texas to play. I look for Love to bounce back in this game because he really didn't look good in the last game. He's making a lot of mistakes you don't usually see him make. And Dallas, they're on that kind of level where everybody's talking about. I think they'll give a good fight, but I don't think they are going to be able to match up with the guy they gave away, Parsons, who's going to be coming out for blood at this particular point. And watch out, Dak. Duck, your thoughts on this?
No, I think the inspiration is going to be high for Micah coming back and really wanting to show everybody how it's going to. He's probably be losing his mind. And Green Bay, again, is going to need a get-back game. The way that they lost to Cleveland, they're looking for some payback. And this is a great team opportunity for them to get that payback, particularly against the Cowboys.
Yeah. It should be an interesting game. And, it's one of those Sunday evening games where you get to watch two teams that are used to battling each other. Next game on tap is the New York Jets at Miami. Miami is a big disappointment. They played hard last week, but not good enough to pull it off. I'm going with the New York Jets. Pop is going with Miami. Southside Al and Dredd are going with Miami. You and Windhawk are going with the Jets as well as Baller, and Yinzer is going with the Jets, and Drake is going with Miami. Why are you going with the Jets? I know I'm selecting the Jets. There are people who are holding on to Miami. Maybe they feel like that Miami is due for a win. They played hard last week. They gave a great effort, but they came up short. But I got to give it to the New York Jets. They're not the same New York Jets that I used to see back in the day. They're fighting, and they're losing games really close.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn is a different kind of dude. He gets people fired up and they play hard, and you can just tell the effort. Even though they were this close to winning that game, even when they lost, it was like, man, we gave a hell of an effort. We gave a hell of an effort. And what you're seeing now is when Justin Fields is out there and when he's healthy, he tries to play real hard, but you can just tell that toughness when you see a guy like Tyrod Taylor
Yeah.
come in and move that ball, and guys are fired up and ready to play. They're playing with a different kind of conviction, and you want to play for Aaron Glenn, right? You want to play for him. He was a hard-nosed, old school guy, and mess around. He probably get out there and probably run half his players over.
Get him back.
Still, he'll put some people on the wall. So you're either gonna get fired up by this guy or get run over. So I like the way his attitude is. You saw the last play when they thought they were gonna win. He ran down the sidelines and he was. They said he ran up by the 4.340 when he ran down the sideline. He was fired up.
Yeah, he was gone. He was
Yeah. So
on that moment.
you love that enthusiasm for a coach, particularly in a place like that. So I hope it works out for him, and that's why I'm picking him this week.
Yeah, and like I said, a few people picked Miami. About four of our squad group had picked Miami, but I had to go with the New York Jets because they're just to me overdue. Last game, which is on Monday night, is Denver, Cincinnati going to Denver. And the first thing me and Pop were saying when I was gathering his picks is that altitude. So Pop picked Denver, I picked Denver, as well as Southside Al. Dredd is going with Cincinnati, and everybody else, Windhawk, Ice, Baller, Drake, and Yinzer they're all going for Denver. I think Denver has a decent team. I think they're well coached, even though, they have the coach and the quarterback get into arguments and disagreements on the sideline. They still find a way to put it together. And Sean Payton, what can you say? He's really got a new life there in Denver, and he's trying to develop a playoff team. So I had to go with Denver. Your thoughts on this game, man?
I mean, that sounds all great, and the great Sean Payton and the
I
altitude.
didn't say
This is a
the
damn,
great.
this is a damn default game, brother. Are you serious? Have you watched the Bengals?
Yeah, the Bengals.
I mean,
Yeah,
Browning. I know he's trying, but it's sad. It's
yeah.
sad with all those weapons over there, and you can't get them the ball. It's just the effort, and the defense has not been helping either.
And
So the
Glenn
combined
coming back.
effort,
Yeah, he
huh?
went back for like what 3 months or something like that. They said.
Yeah, they say he may not be back to December.
Wow,
If that,
wow,
if that, if
wow.
that. He might as well stay on the disabled list.
Yeah, back next year. Come back next year.
Yeah, it's sad though, but the way that the lack of, I wouldn't say much the lack of effort, but the lack of performance, right? Effort is one thing. You can be have great effort, but if you're not able to perform, that's the difference.
Right.
So the inability to perform on the highest level for the defense and the offense just seems like it's a shell of themselves because half the time the quarterback can't get the ball to the receivers, right? And the running backs are trying. I know they got the other running back, Brown, is over there, is trying to get it together, but they just look, you can tell they're a different team without Burrow. Just totally different. And with that being said, it's not going to be pretty this week.
Yeah, that's why I said last week. I don't care who was quarterback in Minnesota. I can't go with Browning after what I saw him do the previous weekend. It's like this guy's not a bona fide NFL quarterback, in my opinion. His days, maybe he was back in the day when he played for Minnesota, but nah, not anymore. Nah, he's lost it. Those are our picks. Check our Facebook page, The Squad, to look at our leaderboard, as well as watching this show and sharing this show and win you some money because we're picking some good picks. Everybody's really picking some good picks. I'm really impressed with everybody, and letting all the gang know, the nine of us, that it's still early. It's still early. It's only week 4. So don't panic, don't quit. You know, people have made some miraculous comebacks late in the season. So just hang in there.
Who?
Hang in there.
Who?
I made one year. I made one year. Yeah.
You think that's gonna happen this year?
You made one. You made a few and came back and won.
Yeah. You think that's gonna happen this year?
I'm not sure, man. You know, people kind of get in a groove and kind of figure out what's going on. And yeah, Pop has done it. We've all done it, man. We've all kind of made like last second, you know, Hail Marys and trying to get back in the league. But
not this year, bro.
Talking junk. All right. Ice is in the league overall, so let's get him. We'll see you next week.